Hello and welcome to the Turn End podcast. It's season 4, episode 8. It's disappointment in the derby for Dundalk today. A 0-0 draw, which probably doesn't do us any favours at all. In a game, I suppose, that didn't have a whole lot of action, ended up with 2 red cards, which is about as fun as it got on the night. Actually, what am I on about? It was 1 o'clock in the day. That completely threw me. I'm blaming the clocks going back. To go through this today, we have Donal. How are you, Donal?
I am super. Chris,
and also the Dundalk Democrats, Niall Newbury. We'll probably have Steph on later on. Lads, I suppose we a quick summary of the game first and foremost. Donal, in a game that had very few chances, are you surprised it was 2 reds?
I should never be surprised if there's red cards in a derby, right? That's just part of the magic of a derby match. It wasn't good. It wasn't an easy watch for lots of reasons. But we've made it through to the other side. It's behind us now. All we have to do is talk about it for a little while and we can forget it ever happened.
Niall, the game lacked a real bit of quality today in it. What do you think you put that down to?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of things, Chris, to be honest with you. I think like the 1 o'clock kickoff, bank holiday Monday, look, at the best of times, it's a bit of a hard sell in terms of, cultivating an atmosphere or any kind of, spice to a game. The fact that both teams, are kind of rooted at the foot of the table doesn't probably help matters either. It didn't feel like a derby up until, I suppose, the final, period where we saw the 2 red cards. It didn't have that feel to it at all. It nearly felt like a pre-season friendly. At the beginning, there was no atmosphere being generated, maybe with the exception of the beginning when there was a couple of flares, when the teams came out onto the pitch. But it was very hard to sort of generate something. And it's something Stephen O'Donnell said himself, we need to give the fans and the supporters a reason to sort of generate an atmosphere. And we just didn't have it. Dundalk today, I mean, you're looking at it from a point of view of like, I know I said it on the podcast a few weeks ago, you look at the Shelbourne game, obviously on Friday, the Pats game, a standalone performances, they're not disasters if you're doing, reasonably okay in the league. Mm-hmm. You play against a team here that's, down there with you at home, and it's taken you, the guts of an hour to get a shot off target. I think it's very, very, it's becoming increasingly hard to put any kind of positive spin on these performances because I think, again, it was just so lacking. And it was only really in the last 20, 25 minutes when, Drogheda were reduced to 10 players that we even looked like we could even possibly score a goal. And that for me is the real concern. It's not looking like scoring a goal. It's not like we're coming out of these games and saying like, we're unlucky and we're creating lots of chances and we're missing chances. We don't look like scoring goals. And we're playing against probably after ourselves at the moment, as the table reflects, the second worst team in the league at home. What an opportunity to sort of get yourself back to winning ways. It's an opportunity to sort of respond. I held my fire, I suppose, after the Shelbourne game because, you're playing the league leaders away from home. As a standalone game, any team could lose that game 2-1 on reflection. It was the game here on Monday against the second bottom side at home, Derby, all that type of thing. And we haven't responded again. And we're 7 games in now, no wins, 2 goals, 1 from open play, no goals at home. I mean, where's the positivity there? Because I can't really. It's hard for me to kind of take a positive. I suppose the clean sheets is probably the 2 clean sheets at home. Row is probably the only crumb of positivity that you can take. But other than that, I'm really stretched to look at anything and say we're heading in the right direction here.
Yeah, look, and on that vein of trying to find some sort of positivity on it, don't forget we'll have our man of the match competition tonight. Seamless, I know. So yeah, look, we will come up with our own man of the match later on in the show, and if it matches ours, you're in a chance to win a 15-inch pizza from Tony's Pizzeria. And I actually had a Tony's Pizza earlier on, lads, and we got a free Easter egg. So there we go. Fair play to you, Vinny. Donal, 4 changes from the Shells match. Were you surprised at the changes? I suppose after seeing Mountney come in and add something to the team, it was probably a good shout that he was always going to come in from the start today.
Yeah, I think with John Mountney, it was just a case of where he was going to play because you're obviously assuming Archie Davis is playing right back, so you have to just find somewhere else for him. And since, left back has been, I guess, one of the problem areas this season, it made sense for him to slot in there. It does create a little bit of a lopsided attack on the left-hand side when he's playing left back and has to cut in on his right foot. And Sam Durant is playing ahead of him and he has to cut in on his right foot. You're looking for somebody to go, outside Durant, but I thought he was fine. He's not played very much football for the last length of time, so it's good to see him come in and good to see him playing. But whether I don't think any of us assume he's a long-term solution at left back, but he's filling a gap at the minute, and since he's the captain, he's doing it. He's leading by example, I guess. But some of the other changes, I think a lot of times when you have the 3 games in 7 days, it's just what legs are still working. I know we've lost.
I think that really sums up where we are this year.
Yeah, whose legs are working. We lost Cammy Elliott to that dangerous surface at Talca Park on Friday night, and there's obviously going to be a change in there, and whether we have any fit strikers at all is an issue.
Yeah,
but I think there's always going to be a few changes. But I don't know if we were joking beforehand before this started about dropping a bomb, and I'm just going to leave the episode and just say something and leave. I'm not going to say things are positive. I'm not going to go to the exact opposite of what Niall just said because I can't, because they're not positive. This is one of the worst starts to the league season in the history of league season, so it's really hard to be positive about it. But I do feel like the performances in general have gotten better over the last couple of games. I don't think, like Niall said, Friday night was a bit of an anomaly in the sense that you're playing away to the league leaders, and I don't think they played that badly. There are huge problems with trying to score goals, and it's not even, again, like Niall said, it's not putting the chances away. It's not creating the chances. It's not getting the positions to create the chances. And I think the performances have been getting better, but the problems still exist. And I don't know how we fix them. And some of the changes, we've changed over the few games, changed 2 wingers, changed who's playing in number 10.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan O'Kane was kind of over on the right today at the start, and Sam Durant on the left, and Darryl Horgan on the bench.
Yeah, and again, I don't know whether that's just a case of Darryl, just the legs were hurting after Friday night, but you need to change those positions around to try and see if something clicks, if something works with some of the players. I don't know where Robbie Mahan is in terms of being fit to come back, or if he's really fit and just not being selected, or what the story is. But they can keep making changes until something works, and I'd imagine that's what they're going to end up having to do for the next few games until they settle on a front three that can actually create chances and take chances.
Yeah, Niall, I suppose Donald's kind of touched on it there. Jamie Gullen going up front, I think he was probably our only option up front. Anyone that was there early would have seen Owen Kenny warming up, doing a bit of a fitness test as well, but I think it was just to get a bit of fitness into the legs with him. He was never an option really for today. But that's becoming a real issue for us now, having a fit striker, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie Gullen obviously carrying an injury himself. He probably wouldn't have played today had, Cameron Elliott been fit. Owen Kenny obviously injured at the minute too, but wasn't really in the team before that, which probably beggars belief at times. Kieran McGuckin as well, I understand, picked up an injury on international duty, or picked up a knock with the Northern Ireland under 21s. So he came on in Talca on Friday night, but didn't make the matchday squad today. So we're really limited in terms of options up top. It was suggested to me, even on Friday, could you try out Durant up top as a wild card? I don't know. I just mean, we really just don't look like we can lay a glove on teams in that part of the field at the moment. Gullen didn't really get much of a look in today, apart from a free kick, which Wogan sort of gathered at the second attempt late in the second half. He never looks like a threat, and it's not just Gullen. I mean, any time we've played Elliott in the previous games, in the game prior, I mean, think our 2 goal scorers this season are obviously Gullin from the free kick against Rovers on opening night, and then Robbie Benson with a consolation stop time header in Tolka on Friday. So that's kind of the story of where we are from creativity and sort of offensive standpoint. It's that to me that's the most alarming thing, actually. I mean, I think defensively, to our credit, we sort of, to some degree at least, albeit against weaker opposition, we've sort of shored it up and it's become more sound in recent weeks, i.e. Waterford, Drogheda, we've kept clean sheets. But I mean, it's the other end of the pitch. It's not like we're creating these chances and missing them and spurning chances. We're not creating chances. It took us an hour to get a shot off target today, at least according to my notes. So, I mean, that's absolutely dire. And I mean, you're playing Derry City next week in the Brandywell, then it's Pats at home, who've got a 3-0 win today. Lucky they're back on June. Where's your next win coming from? I mean, this is really where we're at now. And I'm looking at the television here. Bows are beating Galway 2-0. Pats won today as well. The teams above us are starting to pick up points, and we're sort of being rooted ourselves in Drogheda with respect. We're being rooted to the bottom now. It looks like it could be a 2-horse race for the right to a playoff as it stands. I know it's early days, but you're just looking at the Dogs fixture list, and it's really hard to see where that first win's coming from. It really is.
Steph, how are you?
Terrible.
Steph, we're just talking about the starting lineup tonight. The other thing we haven't talked about is Mayowa coming into the back four, and obviously Ansley dropping out. He seemed to have a fairly solid match though tonight.
Yeah, and look, I don't know, I had a sneaky feeling after just Friday night that a couple of the local lads might have just came back in to maybe try and kickstart it. Know what the Louth Derby's all about, even if Mayo might have limited experience, but he's a local lad, he knows what the Derby's all about. I was thinking, he'd sort of bring Mayo back in. I thought Anthony possibly might have played left back. I thought he might have dropped Durant and playing Mountney right wing, but I totally forgot that Mountney come on left back against Shells and got the assist. So yeah, look, I slipped up on that one, but no, well, look, for me, and it just became I don't know why I've never figured it out until now, but at the end of the game I just realised that we're just playing the exact same system and style of play that we did last year, and with all due respect to most of the players, we don't have the squad that we did have last year either. So I don't know whether it's Stevie doubling down because he's been questioned and he's just sticking with it instead of changing it up, because to now it hasn't worked, or like we're still playing the 4-3-3 that we do, and yeah, look, it hasn't gained us any. It hasn't gained us many points or many goals. Like we're rooted to the bottom of the table. If there's nearly a third of the fixtures gone, you nearly have your first round of fixtures gone, bar you have Derry and Bows. Obviously the Bows games postponed. If we had played that, we're one game away from being a third way through the season. Surely, it's time to change it up, try something different, go 5 at the back with wing backs, or something, anything maybe. I know you're limited, but like Gullin looks like he's doing the exact same job as number 9 from a lifetime gone. But like he's dropping into the hole and he's linking it up, and that's fine. But when the ball does go wide and then comes into the box, then he's trying to make up 20 odd yards to sort of to get on to the end of something. The end product out wide hasn't been good enough. We've got in a couple of promising positions a couple of times, and you're just waiting for a good ball to be delivered, and it hasn't. I think I missed a couple of minutes at the start of the game, but like until Hogan come on and hit that free kick, that was
you missed nothing in the first half.
Yeah, well, like until Hogan come in and hit that free kick, as soon as he come on, that was the first good cross I've seen. Ryan O'Kane looked like he'd limited ball. I thought he might have linked up well with Davis, and it didn't materialise. I was texting a few of the boys. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the game today because I was at a funeral. But I was texting a few lads at the game and just saying, "Geez, there must be a serious wind in the ground, is there?" And they were saying, "Why?" And I was like, "Because all the passes are going astray from everyone. You know, there usually be a few loose passes from a few players, but like I think Donald texted in, and it was sort of tongue in cheek about the 3 throw-ins in a row, but." You know, it was a laugh at times, you know, and I think I highlighted it to the lads as well when you looked at the pitch on the TV in broad daylight. You're just saying, oh, like you could see the black grit like on certain areas of the pitch,
From where they had done the warm up.
as if somebody had just dumped a fucking 3 ton on in certain areas, or you seen wee lines where obviously boys are doing quick feet and whatever else, but like obviously that's another issue. Yeah. So there's no good news really. So
It's a continuing on from Friday, isn't it? Really, Steph.
yeah, but look, you're trying to, you know, as Niall said, you're trying to look really, really search for positives in the whole thing. Like, even it was great to hear Flano back on LOI TV after being so sick and that, but like the lads had mentioned just after half time that there hadn't really been a tackle in anger in the first half. Everything just seemed lackluster. Look, the 2 teams are at the bottom of the league for justifiable reasons. How they performed, and you just think, like, you know, if any of them had a bit of like your incentives there to go and win a game, you're playing against, you know, a team that's right down there with you. Even when we had the man advantage, you're expecting us to really press on, and you know it didn't really materialize for us, unfortunately.
Like Donald, like Steph's joking, did he miss part of the first half? Like, let's face it, he missed feck all. Like, it was one of the most, you know, dreary halves I've ever seen of football. Like, it looked like there was no shots on target in that first half at all. I think there was 2 chances kind of fell, and they fell to Drogheda, but they were kind of half-hearted ones. Maybe Foley's was the closest they kind of slipped while trying to, you know, get it in from a low cross. But there was nothing really of note, was there?
No,
Or your throw-ins?
I was just going to say, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to forget that sequence of throw-ins. And when we put highlights out, it has to be like the lead highlight from the game. They should be like clipping those couple of throw-ins, because for anyone that doesn't remember, John Mountney took a throw-in and it went straight out of play. It went into play and back out of play. Then the return throw-in from Drogheda, I think it was a bit of a scramble, and a Drogheda player put it out for another throw into Dundalk, which then John Mountney threw into play and back out of play again. So it was the highlight of the first half, which was it's an incredible highlight. I mean, where else would you see that? You know, that's absolutely incredible stuff. I also could have done serious damage to my neck, because the screen that has the clock on it, there's a pole right in front of it, so I had to every like 10 minutes being like, oh, it can't only be 15 minutes in, it can't only be 25 minutes in, and then the checks of the clock became increasingly more frequent towards the end of the half, because I couldn't believe time was standing still for as long as it was, and like the hour changed like the other night. It didn't happen in the first half. It felt like the clocks went back 15 minutes into the game, and we had to watch the whole first 15 minutes again. It was not good. But you at that point, you're still understanding the situation for the 2 teams. Like, neither team wants to lose this game, because I actually didn't hear anybody say relegation 6-pointer, because it's still so early in the season. But it could have made a huge difference to both teams to win, but it would have made a huge difference to the other team to lose points to the other team. So you're obviously going to have a tentative beginning to the game, I just didn't think it was going to be as tentative. And you're looking for something to kickstart the crowd. You're looking for something to just
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
set a fire under people, and nothing happened.
the only thing I have in the first half from Dundalk here is 18 minutes. Durant puts in a cross, which Weir gets in ahead of Gullin, which might have looked dangerous. That was Dundalk's highlight of the first half, the first 45 minutes. There was nothing else in the opening half for Dundalk. Yes,
No.
it was a game or a first half that was few and far between for both sides, I understand. But there was no creativity whatsoever. Like Drogheda probably could and probably should have been 1-2-0 up at half time. They also had a very reasonable penalty appeal waved away in the second half, early enough in the second half. With Aaron Markey. I'd like to see that again. But
that was outside the box from what I seen.
was it right?
It looked like a foul, but it looked like he'd fouled him outside the box. But Paul McLaughlin was his usual self. So.
Paul McLaughlin, wasn't he? Paul McLaughlin was Paul McLaughlin.
He was his usual self. So
yeah.
I'm just surprised he didn't give 2 penalties for it. So and there was another shout then.
Yeah.
But I think Mountney was sort of clever. He got his body across, but it just looked like maybe Foley was gonna either take a touch or strike it, and went into the back of Mountney, and it's so when the more you watch it, the more you're like confused if it's a penalty or if it's a free out or if it's nothing. So I think that one was debatable as well. You're just struggling to find highlights. Obviously, Benson, Wogan.
Yeah, that's the next one. Is that chance? Yeah, talk us through it, Steph.
Yeah, like Wogan does what? Like again, he swept up and he headed it, but like I suppose he's just headed it straight into the danger area. Like I suppose he's a goalkeeper heading the ball, so you can't be too critical of him. But headed to the sides away from danger. You're just waiting for if it's going to fall to somebody, you're probably thinking, yeah, Benson's probably one of the ones you'd like it to fall to. I think he tries to hit it on the half volley. If he just lets it bounce up a little bit, then he can sort of caress it more instead of striking it. Put a bit of finesse on it, like Donald used to back in the day. And
swaz on it.
Just a bit of swaz on it. And loop it over. He tries to strike through it, which is
he probably pulls it too much then doing that, does he?
He just he strikes it cleanly, but I'd rather he had sliced it in. But yeah, look, going on the run of play, it probably would have been against the run of play. Look, the draw to midfield sort of impressed me again. Gary Deegan is the general in there. He's the leader. He gets people going around him. Probably a lot of what we could be doing with. Darren Markey, I think I love watching him. He's so good on the ball, but what he gives you off the ball as well is just as good. He countless times nicked balls away from Austin Brink and a couple of other lads in there, and he just sets up attacks from nicking balls away. And Oisin Gallagher seemed to get up and down the pitch. He's rangy, he's big, he's strong. He put in a crunching tackle, I think it was at the end of the first half, and just put himself about, and technically he looked good. So they worked well in there, and then you're just sort of looking at us a bit disjointed in the midfield. For me, Scott High always seems to do well to a point, but he seems isolated an awful lot of times. Like a lot of his good work's undone then by the next pass and in the move.
I think it was his ball, was it not, over the top for Durant? That move,
yeah.
And then I think there was something different as well. We tried a ball over the top. Why not try something different?
Yeah, it was.
Willing runner as well. So go on ahead now. Sorry.
Yeah, Scott High, it was his ball over the top, and he put a couple of ones in. You know what I mean? He was trying something, as you say, Chris, something different, and Stefan referenced it there as well. I mean, but the only problem is, I know I'm like a broken record here, but that Benson attempt was our first attempt on or off target after 59 minutes. Our only attempt, as far as I'm open to correction now, but our only attempt on goal was the resultant free kick from the red card, from Gullin, which
Yeah.
Wogan sort of gathered at the second attempt. Like in a 90-minute game against a team that's directly above you in the table, it's not good enough. I mean, like we never look like with a bit of a mini spell, I suppose, after their red when Healy got the red for the foul on Durant. But I mean, like overall, it's just quite grim at the minute because I mean, we're not really creating. We're not creating, and like we're sitting here talking about a ball over the top as the highlight of the game. Like what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it was something that resembled incisiveness,
Mm-hmm.
But we should be seeing this a lot more often, and we shouldn't be like I said after the Waterford game. We shouldn't really be sat here celebrating none of the draws at home against the teams that are probably going to be in and around us in the table at the bottom. Drogheda United tonight, that's a much better point for them than it is us. They're the away team. They're above us in the table. We're the home team. We're bottom of the table. We need points on the board. We haven't won a game. It's a worst start, I understand, since 1998 in a season that we actually went down, points-wise. So Friday night represented our worst start since 1972. Like, the stats don't read well at all. I mean, there's very little the four of us can sit here and say is positive at the moment. It's just a shambles at the minute, and I just don't see how or where we're going to turn it around. I really, really don't.
I'm not sure if you've discussed already, but the red card decision.
Well, we'll come to the first one. You now we're on it then, Steph. Luke Heaney's red card. I went over a full time and was chatting to some of the technical staff on Drogheda, and they were kind of, that was a very soft red. I've seen others go, it reminded me a bit of John McGinn's red card for Villa there recently. He just came in and hacked the guy. You went, it was very, very, it's a strong challenge to come in with right behind. There's ways you can professionally foul someone and get a yellow and stop him in his run, but he seemed to really chop him down. We'll go around the house and see what we think. Steph, will come to you first on it. What did you think?
Yellow, to be honest with you. But that's
right.
Obviously I'm a cultural
it's the Defenders Union defending this now.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick to the right backs union, yeah. But no, look, I know the way the game's gone, but I still think, I don't know what, maybe if the referee takes another couple of seconds to look at it, like Durant's sort of looking over his shoulder to see if he's going to pop out the red card or not, and he sort of holds it. And then as soon as he gives him the red, Durant hops up. Maybe if you're watching it in real time and you're close to it, you can see how it goes. But I don't know. I think I'm in the minority saying I think it was a yellow. I think a lot of people seem to be saying it was red and he was reckless and he the professional foul. I don't think so because the centre half's covering across anyway. So I don't think. But yeah, look, and I think he does mean to foul him, but I don't know. It's a hard one to judge. How much force is cynical and over the top, and I don't know the rules to differentiate between what warrants the red and yellow. I suppose it's probably a game of opinion.
It's a good player's answer here, Steph. I can tell you that.
I should have done the Arsene Wenger and what happened in the other part of the ground that I couldn't see. Donald's probably going to use the scoreboard as his blocker that he didn't see it. But yeah, for me, it was a yellow card. I thought it didn't warrant a red card. Ryan Dillon's probably say I've done plenty of them in my time, but he's a liar, so don't believe him. It's yellow for me anyway.
Yellow for you, Donald?
Well, initially, I thought it was only a yellow because I thought he was giving him a red card because of where he was on the pitch. I didn't necessarily see the excessive force in the challenge. When I saw the replay of it, I did think, oh yeah, that could be a red card. Yeah, he has kind of walloped him. So yeah, the Niall McGinn one is pretty appropriate. Except that Niall McGinn, there was less reason for Niall McGinn to do it that time. But I thought if he had said it was a red card because he was in on goal or it was professional foul or whatever. And like, I don't think so. But when I saw it back and saw like that he absolutely walloped him.
It's the fourth who chops him, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's
Man's
probably a
game.
red. It didn't look like a red to me at the time, but yeah, it's not the same game anymore, Steph. It's not the same game anymore.
Unfortunately not.
But I feel like if you always try and look at it from the opposite side, like would you genuinely, if that was a Dundalk player and he got a red card, would you be upset about it? And I don't think I could argue it too much, so I'm applying the same logic that I'm nearly sure that's a red card.
Nearly sure, right? We're getting closer. Niall.
Look, I think at the risk of sitting on the fence here, I think Stefan and Donald have made good points. So I'm just going to say,
It's like I'm on Judge Judy.
So with that in mind, I'm just going to say the referee should have just played on. No, I'm only joking. I think to be honest with you, I thought it was a red when in real time. To be honest, it looked a bad one, like right from behind. But then I had the benefit of looking at the monitor on the replay, and I mean, although it's a very cynical foul, I'd say from Heaney, he doesn't really need to do it going in from behind. I mean, as Stefan mentioned, he's not last man. Look, call me old-fashioned if you like, but if that's at the other end, and say John Mittley, for argument's sake, gets sent off for it, I'm a little bit annoyed, to be honest, because maybe I'm being a bit too old school here, but it is a contact sport. Look, he's gone to the back. I can see why Paul McLaughlin's given him the red, the straight red. I was surprised it was a straight red. I had to ask if it was a second yellow beside me. I wasn't sure. But when I realised it was a straight red, I was a little bit surprised. I'm not going to lie. That's only on the benefit of seeing the replay, though. I mean, I think there is cover. Maybe the referee was a bit, trigger happy with the cards today. I don't know. But, obviously, R.T. Davis got 2 yellows for, separate incidents as well later on in the game. So, I mean, for me, it's a yellow. But I can see why Paul McLaughlin's given the red. So that's my
cover both bases there. Well done.
Go for it, Chris. Go for it.
This is the deciding call.
I would say if you're going to make a challenge like that, be prepared for a League of Ireland referee to send you off for it. Like, we've seen players get sent off for far worse things than that.
No, that's a good answer.
So
that can't be the
I think if you're going to put in a challenge like that, it's going to be a foul. You're going to make the referee have to decide whether this was dangerous or not. You've now run the gauntlet of whether you're going to get a card no matter what here, and you're worried about the severity of that card. Don't give the referee that choice to make. You either keep running to try to put off the player, or you just give it a push or something like that. That you're just definitely going to get a yellow card for. And he didn't. He went in a lot harder, so I can see why the red was given. See that? Simple. Didn't take me 2 minutes to do that. Steph, the free kick though from Gullen, look, it was really our only chance on target, so we might as well talk about it. Like it looked like he kind of didn't get the purchase that we've seen him get in Tallaght Stadium before for a free kick. But for a second there, it looked like Wogan was going to give us a little present for our Easter.
Yeah. I think like not many players sort of claimed to be over the line or anything like that. So he obviously clawed it back in time. But yeah, he struck it okay. I suppose like the Rovers one was more central, I think. So he probably had to put a bit more curl on it. Like, it's mad we're going in depth on this free kick. Because he's not that, so...
We've only that and Archie's red cards to come, lads, so strap yourselves in.
Yeah, so look...
40 minutes on that red card, though.
On another day, you have a bit of luck and Wogan spills it in. But, yeah, it should have been a routine save and he just catches it. But, like we've known before, a bounce off that ground... Could have just hopped onto the crossbar. You just it's so unpredictable at times. But yeah, look, you can't even really say he's unlucky because the keeper should really be keeper that
Yeah,
quality should be
yeah.
saving it. We just catch it. But yeah, look, he's managed to keep it out. Unfortunately for us, we could have been cheering on a second golden goal, but yeah, it wasn't to be.
So, look, I suppose, Niall, Drogheda are down to 10 men. You're looking and you can see some subs warming up on the bench for Dundalk. Do you think was that the opportunity just to get someone with a bit more pace or a bit more attacking prowess onto the pitch? And as time kind of just went on, we just did not seem to be able to penetrate through the 10 men of Drogheda.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a feature the last few weeks, I suppose, and it's something I've mentioned in particular. Robbie Mahan comes on for the last 5 minutes today. I mean, I'm not really Robbie Mahan to me, in pre-season at least, and looked one of our brighter players. We haven't seen a whole lot of him, and he doesn't appear to be carrying an injury at least. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the squad, you're assuming. So, I'm not really sure what the issue there is with Robbie Mahan. I mean, it's a player I think we'd all like to see a bit more of, considering our lack of attacking sort of prowess at the moment. Look, we had a couple of chances after the red card. I mean, Mayowa has one that's kind of heads one over from a corner it's well over, but we are at the bottom of the barrel here, chance wise, talking wise. Obviously the Gullum one we mentioned, the Benson one. I don't think we have a plethora of options to call on at the moment in terms of adding the creative spark to what is a team that's playing with a serious low level of low confidence. It looks like, and that seems to be a major issue. I mean, they don't look confident. They look. One of my observations today was they were looking like a team with the greatest respect. Like, if you didn't know any better, they looked like a team that was already relegated at times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the best way I can sort of describe it. They look like a team that was already cut adrift and, in like UCD's territory last year, already just playing away and trotting along. There was no urgency. There was no urgency as opposed to try and get a force a goal. There was none of that. Crowd can't really get behind it. Then it didn't even feel like a Louth Derby today, and that's just the God's honest truth. Apart from the 2 red cards, were probably the highlights of the game, and that's desperate, really. So. Yeah. But to answer your question, no, I don't think he's got a plethora of options to call upon for attacking purposes. But Robbie Mahan is a player. That's one I can't understand at the minute as to why he's not getting more game time, unless there's more to that story. I don't know. I can't claim to know anything about that, but I don't know why he's not getting more game time, because he actually looks like he could be a creative outlet for us. And I remember in Pats and in Chakor, himself and Durant came on, linked up very well. We need any attacking prowess we can get at the moment. And if we're not utilising it when we have it, I mean, I'm not sure where that leaves us at all.
Yeah. Look, we'll come. There's plenty of questions coming in from everyone. We will get to them. We'll just wrap up what's kind of left in this game. Donald, we've seen plenty of players being sent off in Louth Derbies, but for the 2 reasons that Archie picked up yellows, this is quite unique.
Yeah, before we get to the second one, I think is obviously more explainable in like regular football terms, but the first one was. It came from O'Donnell told Monroe to sit down so they could have their group session on the touchline. Yeah, which can we just? I know we don't change rules until the end of the season, but can we just make that illegal? That if a player goes down, you can't have a group session on the touchline, because this stuff is going to keep happening now. So Drogheda player walks over. Doherty tells the Drogheda player to go and stand. I don't know who it was. To go and stand beside the group of players. So as soon as he's standing there, Archie starts he walked over to him, I think, and said something, and came back, had the bottle of water, squirted the bottle of water at him. Didn't get any reaction. Then somebody pushed that Drogheda player away. Archie followed him and sprayed the water at him again, right in the referee. So his first yellow card was he might have given leniency for doing it once, but if you squirt water at somebody twice, Paul McLaughlin will give you a yellow card. So he got a yellow card for that. And then the second one is just, I think it's just like massive levels of frustration, because I didn't think it was a foul that the referee gave a foul for, and then just just sitting aside.
It looked like he just won that ball.
Yeah, and I thought the same thing. I thought he just won it, and
he nudged him at best. You know what I mean? He nudged him at best, really. Yeah.
And he had let some of those go as well. Like there's just inconsistency in refereeing or whatever. But that's a whole other podcast. But he had let some of those challenges go, so you were surprised he gave that one as a free kick, and then look, it's just a silly second yellow to get in the circumstances. But it's understandable as well because of frustration at that being a free kick in the first place. But I don't know how often you'd see someone get a first yellow for pouring water at someone.
It's certainly a first for me. I hadn't seen it before, to be honest with you. I think it was Hayden Can was the draw the player in question. But definitely a first.
He'll live long in infamy as he survives an attack of a water bottle from Archie Davis.
It's the sort of thing you see. It's the sort of thing you see on the playground in second class, to be honest with you. But quite bizarre. In the most bizarre season so far.
Well, look, someone who I hope is never, going to, definitely has never been sent off from this pod anyway, for certain. Gally making a sneaky late appearance in there. Gally, you're welcome.
I was going to jump in, and then I didn't want to interrupt put anybody off talking.
It's all right. Don't was going into depth on how to squirt somebody in the face with water, so you're more than welcome.
Oh, we're that far already. We're now Archie Davis, yeah.
Oh, come here. We've got 40 minutes dragged out of that. Please don't make us redo it. Gally, you're up in Oriel earlier on, so I suppose just give us your thoughts on the match.
Jeez, we're before 10, are we?
Oh yeah. Oh God.
If there was ever, I suppose, if there's ever an advertisement for where two teams are in the league, that today, I don't know. I haven't. Look, I'm not going to lie. I haven't listened, but I thought it was probably the worst game of the season, and that's saying something. The first half was absolute dire. Whatever, but the second half having a bit of something in it, like Steph's mate there, Gary Deegan. I actually wanted Gary to just give someone a bit of a wallop, just to wake people up. I just thought it was we just never got going. I mean, there's a reason why we're down there. If anybody was in any doubt as to what's happening, those two teams today, they both deserve to lose. Nobody deserved to draw. It was that bad. I thought they were shocking. And even if we talk about chances, I know, look, you've probably gone over this already, but, our set pieces were so poor. If you can't get round defenders and play through them, at least have your set pieces right. And I just thought they were terrible. I think I'd say probably the only cross of note. Now, look, there was one or two. Mountney had some decent cross, but even when you look at set pieces, I think the one Darryl Hogan came in and just tucked straight off the bench was probably the only one that you could have made contact with. Mayo has a bit of a header laid on and a little bit high. I don't know if he's jumped a bit earlier, just hit him in the wrong spot. But I just thought, look, it's one of those games that it's, how do you put it? It's like a dodgy firework. It's all squeal, no bang. All the build up to it, and nothing happened whatsoever. It's like, it was such a pity because I think it's a game Dundalk. And look, you've come away with a draw, but I think we really needed to go at them today, and we just never really. And look, Drogheda were just as bad. They were just as bad. I don't remember any chance of note for Drogheda really. We talk about, I'm sure you talked about the red card already. It's just not a nothing game, but look, we come away with a draw. But I just thought it was it's probably, for me, anyway, I think it's the worst game of the season. That says something because we've had some poor games. Two very poor teams. I agree, Andrew. The two really poor sides was the best synopsis of the game, I think. Yeah, and there's a reason what the table looks like. That's if there was that's what I say. If there was ever a game to show you, like, this is where we are and this is how. Look, I just thought it was really, really poor. And like, if it is such a thing, you can say the first half was actually worse than the second, and the second half was diabolical. That's how bad the first half was. I just thought it was really poor, really poor. And I was all hyped up, 1 o'clock kickoff, bank holiday Monday. I thought after Saturday or last Friday night as well, God, yeah, you'd wonder, like, you'd really have to wonder what's going on. I like, and it's a couple of changes. Mountney's coming at left back. Actually done all right. It was a surprise maybe to see him there, but again, can run the legs off most players, but we just never got going. I just, Gullen, look, he runs all day, I suppose. He's kind of like your John Walters there. He'd run all day for you, but he could be 10 months waiting on a goal, just to not getting the ball to him. It's just one of them. And I think there's serious potential there with him. We spoke about this stuff last Friday night. I think there is potential with him. I just don't think he can. I think there is potential with him. he just needs someone else. He just needs someone. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, and I don't know who that person is. Johnny's after saying that. I don't know who the player to play off him is. Maybe a Hogan in behind. I don't know, but Robbie Mahan. Look again. Can't get. I don't know what's going on. Robbie Mahan. Come on very late. Can't seem to get a run of going at all. But look, it's a draw. It's a very poor game. I mean, like I said, neither of them deserve the draw. If you could give away, if you could take the point off at the end, you would have both of them. That was terrible.
Yeah, look, definitely. Steph, we'll come to a couple of people's questions, but everyone can keep their man of the match nominations coming in, and we'll get to it very soon. Steph, there's a couple of comments in just talking about Zach Johnson having another solid performance again, but a lot of people talking about that he went over to the fans in the shed end at the end to apologise for the performance today and said that the win is coming. That probably shows a lot of, fight in a young lad in this team. We'll probably expect that from more senior members of the squad, but to come from somebody so young, and bear in mind our pairing were probably both teenagers today as well. Like it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I think he's 18, 19, and then Mayo's probably 20. But yeah, look, it shows a bit of leadership and a bit of maturity from him. He has a good reading of the situation. He probably sensed a bit of anger, and maybe he's coming from Sunderland's a big, massive club. They've gone through their turmoil, as we all know. It's well publicised, and although he's only a young lad, he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. And I'm sure that's gained him even more support from the fans. He's only here till the summer apparently, so like to have that connection with the club, and it obviously means a lot to him. So that's just testament to his character, I think, and his personality. It's sad in a way that the last 4 or 5 games that I've been up to, between himself, Mayo, in the first game, and then today, I thought Mayo was solid again today. He snuffed out the 2 strikers whenever he was in his 1v1 duels. He's looked like a bit of a quarter of a threat from any set plays that went into the box. But yeah, look, the last 4 or 5 games I went to, like the centre halves have been our best players. That's just a reflection on how we've done so far this season and how we're playing and the way it's going. So yeah, but look, he looks like he's impressive every time he plays. He's assured on the ball. His 1v1 duels are excellent. He seems solid in the air. He attacks the ball well. He's really impressed me since he's come in. He's probably been the one the last couple of weeks that you could probably say, yeah, look, he's really stood out. Mayo's been big and strong today and athletic. It looked like a decent partnership. But then, like, Mayo and Boyler looked like a decent partnership after Rovers game, and Sligo game sort of threw that up in smoke. So yeah, but look, Johnson looks like a good. He's one of the positives, the positive loan signings we've brought in. So yeah, it's good to see. The feeling for it is probably the main one for me, that he actually cares about it. And if we have more of that type of character, or if that spreads throughout the group, it's only a positive thing for me. But yeah, look, I think we're a bit limited in quality wise, unfortunately.
Yeah, Niall, your thoughts on Zach Johnson, his performance today?
Yeah, I thought it was another good performance from Zach Johnson. I mean, I didn't see the incident at the end. I just heard about it. I think, look, I spoke to Zach Johnson a few weeks ago after the Waterford game. He's only 19. He seems to carry himself very well on and off the pitch. Seems like a very level-headed young lad. If he's the man who's coming up and showing the leadership, it would worry me for a young lad who's only on loan here until July 6th, I think. When his loan runs out, he's back to Sunderland, and he's the one showing the leadership, and they're taking the responsibility. It doesn't fill me with confidence in some of, surely a more senior member of playing staff should be taking the onus there. I'm not criticising anybody. I'm just saying you'd be expecting that. Like, but he's performed really well in recent weeks. I mean, like, as has Mayowa. I mean, Mayowa was brilliant today again, and I thought the two boys, in fairness, even in the first half, and Tucker Park on Friday were superb as well. I mean, like, Zach Johnson was brilliant in the first half against Shelbourne, and obviously was superb against Waterford as well. Look, that has been the crumb of positivity. Has been, I suppose, we've sort of improved defensively. I'm saying that now before we play Derry next Friday, and hopefully that's not a massacre. But the boys at the back, at least, even John Meltley, in fairness, you know, with the assist against Shelbourne when he came on, and, you know, put in a solid enough performance as captain today. You know, his first start in 17 months, I think it is. More than 17 months, actually, 18 months now, I think. You know, it shows, you know, there is positivity in that respect. But, I mean, that's about it. That's probably, and like, obviously Ross Monroe as well hasn't really, he's done okay too, I think, at times. But other than that, I don't think we've got too much to shout about. But the two boys at the back, the defensive pairing of Anna Massahun and Johnson, certainly, I would echo what Stefan was pointing out there for sure.
Donal, you know, I suppose what Rory's saying here is you're looking at Galway, Sligo, Waterford, and Drogheda all at home. All our fixtures at home so far, and we've only picked up 2 points. I mean, it doesn't bode well when you look at that.
No, I can't remember who. I think I don't know if it was Niall or Gary that mentioned UCD. I'm watching the team thinking it feels like watching UCD that are about to get relegated, but UCD would have like games against us that they'd pull out like worldly performances and touch past us in half an hour and have us beaten. So I'm wondering who we're going to be a bogey team for. Like, maybe Friday night is the beginning of actually being Derry's bogey team for the season, which like, you know, I think that would make us all feel a lot better about things. If we might struggle at home to Galway, Sligo, Waterford, and Drogheda, but we beat Derry home and away twice. I think, yeah, there's worse outcomes. But the only thing you can say, I think, by way of positivity, and there's not much you can say, but I mean, historically, and I mean that like across all of football, there's rarely ever a team that doesn't win a game or 2 games or 3 games. Like, we can't not win a game. Like, that's when we were in this. If we can't get to the end of the season, like, we are the only team that have never won a game in a league season. Like, we will win a game.
You don't know that, Donald.
If anybody wants to give me
it's bad when we settle for a goal at home. Like, we've 4 games at home now on the board, and we haven't scored yet. No goals in Orient.
Yeah.
It is. That's what I'm saying. This is like historically bad, and I don't think. I mean, you can say what you want about the quality of players that are there, or like the coach, or whatever, but I don't think this is a historically bad team. I mean, it can't be that we're doing this podcast watching one of the worst teams in the history of football. I mean, that can't be what's happening. So I'm like, things are turning around. Look, you're building from the back. You're getting like 2 good centre backs in. Fair enough, you only have one until July, but you know, we'll go till July and then we'll get another one. I don't know.
He did say that he's open to the possibility of extending the loan, in fairness to him, but I suppose only time will tell in that regard. I know Lewis McCarry, we got to keep him for the season a couple of years back, but you'd certainly hope, you know, certainly on early evidence, that we can keep hold of Zach Johnson for the remainder of the campaign and not just half the season, because you don't want to be plugging in more holes now in the summer. We probably need a couple more players anyway. I mean, I understand Gabriel Adebambo's been training with us. You know, he left Stoke City. He's a local lad, left Stoke City. He was at Tucker Park on Friday and was doing drills today in the warm-up. So he could be an option if he signs, remains to be seen. He could be another option for us. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's... I love Donald's positivity there, to be honest with you. I think it's very... It's very. I can't say it's contagious, like, but I do love it.
Positivity is that this isn't the worst team in the history of time. That's my positive outlook on this.
Gally, like we're looking at our last 2 home games and we've kept 2 clean sheets, but the fact that we haven't been able to take all 3 points is just, there's a bit of positivity for you, Donald.
Get in.
Like this is the real problem. When we're coming up against these teams, we got to be getting something of this, in particular at home, and in particular if we're able to keep a clean sheet against them, to not go on and be able to get a win is just heartbreaking at this stage.
Yeah, and I was saying this I was talking to David Lennon earlier on, who's a Dog fan, and it was a tweet that was out this morning, and as bad as we've been, and as we haven't seen goals being scored, I forgot. It's not that I forgot. It just never dawned on me that we hadn't won a game all season. Do you know that kind of way? And that was frightening. It's frightening to be this far. Like we had said a couple of weeks ago that, the Tala game, this false dawn at Tala, and this kind of, it's just like don't let it, like the positivity, like the worrying thing, and we said it a million times. We said it here last Friday. We're not going to score goals the way we're playing. So something's got to change completely. Like, I don't even know what the best lineup is or the best formation for this team, but it's definitely not 4 at the back, in my opinion. I don't know where they're going to go here. I really don't know. I think we're going to struggle big time for goals. We can talk about what's gone before, but this team, at the way they're playing, the way they're not the way they're coached, sorry, that's probably been hard, but the tactics that have been put out in the field there, I just don't see us scoring any goals at all. Like Steph just said, we're looking for a goal at home. Never mind, like keeping clean sheets are great. Look, you keep a clean sheet, you're guaranteed a point. But if we go and draw every game from now to the end of the season, it's not, unless Drogheda have a real nightmare over the next couple of months, I just don't see where we're scoring goals. And that's really frightening considering the players we have. It's really, really down to the way they've been played, because you have Durant, you have Hogan, you have O'Kane, you have Gullen, you have Scott High when he's going forward. Like it's just not clicking in the last third, and we got to get something from somewhere. Like I said last Friday night, Chris, we were here. We're looking for one of your classics, an own goal last minute. We're still waiting on this own goal.
I nearly had Wogan thrown in his own net today. Like I'm getting closer. Surely.
It's just worrying that although look, and like Don is right. We two good centre halves that you're hoping to keep Johnson at the end of the season. But I mean, my God, like I don't know if Owen Kenny's injured. I don't know if he's getting
he was doing fitness tests running around the pitch before.
There's a lad you're looking for straight out the gate. As soon as he's fit, get him in. Look, we can talk about different players. But it's really like Johnny Lynch had said there. It's baffling. Like Gullen baffles me. Like it's so strange, and it's so. And unfortunately, the longer this goes on, we're going to be sitting here every week. Like I keep saying it, we have record numbers watching this podcast every week. We normally get about 40, 50 people. Last Friday night, Steph, I don't know what we were on,
10,000 or something.
People, yeah, we got 10,000. It was the same with Tala. And when we know the numbers are high, things aren't going well, and they're getting high every time we do this podcast, and that's really worrying. Look, we love the high numbers, but we know people are on.
Nobody listening to us.
Yeah, like it was said to me today, this podcast has become almost like a therapy session for people to vent, and that's fine. But at the same time, I'd swap all the comments for results. I don't see any way. I really don't see any way. As the way they're playing at the minute, the way they've been sent out, I don't know where it's going to come from. And look, I thought today might wake them up. Louth Derby, something a bit different during the day, 1 p.m. kickoff, early breakfast at 5, past at 8, whatever you're having. But yeah, no, I've lost for words how lackluster we are going forward. Like I don't remember a chance today. I don't think we had a chance.
I think that we were saying about like obviously if young Kenny's fit, it's worth giving him a go and struggle. But if we don't create any chances, you can stick Mama Rhodes up there. It doesn't matter who's playing. Like, it's just nobody's gonna. You can't do anything with no service. So
and that's the real worry.
As much as it's a problem for Gullen, it's a problem for the attacking players behind them. Or even, I mean, you said about the 5 at the back. Like the wing backs thing might suit someone like Archie Davis, but then who's the left wing back?
Yeah,
it's whatever way the squad has been constructed, it's at least you would think constructed with the idea of having two fullbacks, and then like it's been constructed with the 4-3-3. So if we try to change it, do we have players that can make a difference? So I mean, I'm going to talk myself back out of my positivity if this isn't the worst
No, Donald, calm down.
thing in the world, but
Yeah, like
no,
I
I'm
said
good.
against
I'm good. We're going to win on Friday.
I said against Shells on Friday that the worrying thing, like a striker, if a striker's missing chances, you're just saying, well, it's only going to be until the next game or the next game, and then he's going to score, and then he's going to hit a run of form. But when a striker's not even creating the chances, then you start getting worried. It's the same with the team. If the team isn't creating these chances, then you're worrying, where's the big chance going to come from? Never mind, where's the goal going to come from? So it sort of just continued on from that. Nothing has changed. It's like Groundhog Day again and again and again. We keep talking about the problems, but it's just, nothing has changed. We're still going out, and maybe I don't know. I can't see it, but maybe if we keep doing these same things, that he thinks it's going to click someday. So, but it's only you can only go down the road that for so long until you go shit, we're on the wrong path. We need to divert. So I look at, for me, it's gone on long enough. We need to try something different. In my opinion, it's one of the poorest divisions in Emery. I think the standard in the league has dropped massively, and we're really, really struggling to score goals, and that's affecting the points tally as well. So something needs to change drastically, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I think it's at this stage, Steph, it's probably time to pull up the handbrake instead of going down this path completely. I think, look, I think we could probably go round and round it. Like we discussed this the previous week. We discussed it on Friday, about just doing something different. And, actually, we finally scored a goal by, John Mountney just kind of cutting in and not waiting to get to the byline and put in a cross and send it to the back post. But, angle a cross in that the keeper couldn't come out from. We finally scored a goal from that. So, like, it shows when we do something different, we can make something of it. Rather than this, what do you call it, Ali, a therapy session, rather than dragging this out and being charged double for it, we'll go around the house and we'll have a thoughts on man of the match. Donald, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, well, I think it's, to me, between the two centre backs. Thought they're both very good. I think there was a couple of shaky performances. I think Mayo had, maybe not to pick him out, but that he was playing the Galway game and the Sligo game, I think, wasn't he, at home? And I think there was a certain style of play that sort of caught him out, whereas a more like facing a more like one-on-one duels with your centre forward probably suits him better. So I thought he was very, very good, but I think Zach Johnson has to be the pick. Well, it could go either way, but I'll say I'll take Zach Johnson as the man of the match today.
Niall?
Yeah, I would concur with everything Donald pointed out there. I mean, Zach Johnson, I think I've picked him out myself the last two league matches, against Shelbourne, especially first half last week at Shells. The full match against Waterford, he was superb. But in the interest of balance, I'm probably gonna go for Mayowa. Tonight, I think
There's 5 votes here. Okay, lads.
Yeah. Mayowa and Amasahoon, I thought he carried himself well again tonight, and I think for me, he's man of the match. Yeah.
Stefan?
Yeah, toss up between the two centre halves. I thought Mayowa just, when Pirot came on, I was sort of worried. He might have just, shaded that battle. But I think Mayowa stood up to the challenge well. He actually snuffed him out a few times, and you like what he's good at. Used his physicality. He nicked balls away from him, put the ball out for a couple of infamous throw-ins that Donald loves. Yeah, I thought he was nice and strong, and then when he went forward, he looked like he was trying to attack anything that got into the box. So I thought he possibly just shaded it over Johnson. I think for him to come back in after is that his first game since Sligo? His first
Since
minute
yeah, with the suspension and that, yeah.
since the Sligo match, where he could have went down a really, really dark hole after that because the performance and everything was so bad. It might be the best thing for him, a learning curve from it. He seemed to ball watch a little bit in that game. I was watching from Gally's viewpoint up in the stand that evening, and he seemed to get attracted to where the player was instead of shoring up his position. But obviously, just watching him on the telly today, he looked pretty assured. But maybe it is when he gets in that 1v1 battle and he doesn't have someone peeling off him that it comes to his strength, or maybe Zach playing beside him is a good partnership. So, big long-winded answer, Mayo for me.
Right, two for Iowa, one for Zach Johnson. Gally, don't do this to me now.
Well, yeah, I think your only obvious point it is between the two boys. Look, and I see an argument for Durant as well in parts, but I'm going to have to probably split it here. I thought Mayo was excellent, but for me, I thought considering he's come in and more in the hope that he's watching this and he might stay for another 6 months on loan. I think Zach for me. Look, I agree with what Steph was saying. There's definitely an argument for Mayo as well. There probably is the only really two options on the pitch the whole day. But for me, Zach Johnson, I thought he was excellent. I thought coming out with the ball, like we could talk about with the fans at the end. I didn't see it myself. I only heard about it on social media. But yeah, I thought he was excellent. Look, and the two of them were excellent. There's not a lot between them. I mean, look, I give them half a pizza each. Don't give them away a pizza at all. Give them a slice each or something. But no, for me, I'm just straight in. I'm going to go with Zach Johnson. Yeah.
Great. I hear when I get the deciding one though.
Yeah.
Right. Look, I think both candidates had probably a good strong game in a game that we lacked a lot of presence on the field. Like Steph just said, when the physical battles came down, I think Mayo stood very strong when needed to on it. Zach Johnson, I thought for young lad was quite vocal along that back line. You could hear him calling, when there was free kicks against us, when to hold the line. For someone so young to be, so outspoken, and I'm sure he hasn't got that much, first team experience as well, like to have the confidence to go and take that on. And I think he played very well also in the Shells match. So to kind of back that up with another one again, I'm going to give this to Zach Johnson myself, just so Steph gives me the evils and says, for God's sake, will you give it to a local lad? But yeah, I tell you what, if whoever wins it, when you get your free Easter egg off any, you can give that to Mayo to make up for it. And there's something. Look, the majority of them was for Zach Johnson tonight in the group as well. Some Sam Durant as well, and that's all. We will give it to Ronan Wall. There'll be inquest into that now with his connections to the Bells, but
definitely it's Stewards and Quay over there.
Yeah, it's done now.
Keep for yourself.
Yeah. Look, we've touched on it already, Gally. Like we're staring down the barrel of a trip now to the Brandywell. If you had picked up some sort of points before this, 3 points there today, and you were looking at a possible point in the Brandywell, you would think that's decent. But the longer this run goes on without a win, it's just going to be the weight, the rock on our back that's going to break us this season.
Yeah, and it's the same with the build up today. Like, I mean, a nil draw today is okay if it's not off the back of what we're after seeing over the last couple of weeks. And it will we will have to have the game of the season so far to get anything on. Now, look, Derry haven't been fantastic either. They haven't pulled up threes all season either. I don't think they've been excellent. They haven't hit anywhere near what on paper what they should be doing. But yeah, like Steph has said, it's been a poor start for a lot of clubs. Shelbourne. If Shelbourne are running away with the league, it has been a great start because they're not great themselves. But I don't think. Look, you want to go up there. The Dundalk head on you wants to go up and say, right, we're going to go up there, give it a go. But I just don't know where, with the same lineup, the same tactics, you would have to catch there. Like, we're at this stage already. I think I said this last season. But we're at the stage where, in order for us to pick up points, we have to be at our best, and the other team have to be brutal. And that's the problem we're going to have. A half decent Derry will roll over us. So it's, would you take it? I take a repeat of today's match up there, absolutely. But I just don't see how, with the way they'll be playing at the minute. I'd hate to sound really cliche. The first goal will be key in that game. That's a real cliche thing to say, but I just don't see how. Look, the only thing is it's artificial pitch. So look, we can't score at home. We might as well not go up there and try and score up there as well. But I just don't see how we get anything. If Derry play 75%, 80%, I don't see how we even compete. But that it breaks your heart to say that kind of stuff. But there's not a lot more you can say after the last couple of weeks. But would I take a repeat of today's performance? The clean sheet, yeah, I'll take it now. You don't have to go up. Don't put the diesel into the bus, lads. Just stay at home. But no, I think we're going to find it really tough, and it's. Look, I don't want to sound too negative, but like I say, we'd have to be at our best, and Derry have to be absolute muck for us to turn them over up there. So in conclusion, Chris, I think it'll be better.
So Steph, he's saying we have a chance.
Yeah.
Would you give us a chance though?
Actually, you know what? I actually would.
I know Ruben went off at half time today in Tulka, so.
Right, okay, so.
Oh, sorry, don't. There was interference on the line.
A poor man, Gullen. Yeah, look, it might suit us to not have the ball, if that makes sense.
We're good at that.
It sort of worked okay against Rovers and then Pats to a certain extent. The more of the ball we have, the more we seem to struggle. If we have to go and break down a team, we aren't creating anything. So look, maybe quick counter attacks might be the way forward. Derry have really struggled. I think they've lost 2 or 3 of their last 4. They drew 0-0 today.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Galway 1-0 in the previous game. So look, they're not firing on all cylinders at the minute. They seem to be struggling for goals a wee bit as well, which is surprising. The attacking flair they have, we won't mention it.
Actually, I want to check it there. They've only 1 win in 5, yeah?
Yeah, so look, they're not.
It's one more than us.
Yeah, and low bar. It's a low bar. But yeah, look, we're actually going into games. Well, it seems to be most games now we're going in, and it's like nobody's expecting anything of us. We're going up to Talca, and nobody expected us to do anything, and we didn't. So at least we're not getting our hopes up and then getting heartbroken. But yeah, look, I don't know. If we can start scoring goals at some stage, it'd be great, and that gives you real chances in games. So, the best we're hoping for is 0-0, is it?
This is it. Niall, is this 0-0 written all over it?
Well, look, Derry, I don't think so, no, to be fair. I mean, I think Derry need the win. Do you know what I mean? If they drop points again today, they're in fourth in the table, just 3 wins out of 8, the first 8 games. It's not good reason for the money that's been spent up there. They need to win more than they need to win more than we do. Yeah, you could argue. So it's not a great game for us to come into. They have a better quality of player, all that type of thing. They have a good crowd in the Brandywell, you'd imagine. Look, our season's not going to be defined against Derry City and Shamrock Rovers and Shelbourne. That's why I wasn't overly, worried about Friday night's game. It was today's game I was really looking at as, are we going to see a response here? And we didn't really see it. The Waterford game, 0-0 again. Their third bottom, 0-0 at home. Galway, after that, lost 2-0 at home. We still have to play Bows, obviously, in the postponed game in a couple of weeks. These are the games that are going to define whether we remain a Premier Division club or not. Like, it's not going to be against Derry City or Shelbourne or Rovers. Like, anything next Friday will be a bonus, in my view. I don't see us getting points. I don't see us drawing the game. I think we're going to lose the game. And I think that's just where we are at the moment. You know, I hope I'm proved wrong on that. I really do. But I haven't seen any evidence in the 7 games to suggest otherwise, that we're going to go up there on Friday and, you know, yield any sort of a result. I've seen no evidence whatsoever. So I'm quite glass half empty here at the minute. But I think most Dundalk fans, if they're being honest, would probably be in the same boat, you know, looking ahead.
Donald, it's down to you now. don't let the odd end on a downward spiral. Dummigan slices up his clearance right into his own net, and we'll take a 1-0 victory home. That's the
job. Yeah, look, let's be honest. I'm probably not going to be on the pod after the game on Friday night. So anything I say here now, I'm not going to have to pack it up next week. So
we're going to win.
We're going to win. We're going to win.
You have nothing to back that up, but we're going to win. I like it.
No, well, like, in all
true
fairness,
intent of the match.
Yeah, the only thing that you can that I can go on in my head and be like, right, maybe we can get a result because of it, is the performance from the first week when we didn't have the ball. And that'd be the thing you'd assume Derry would have plenty of possession, and the one thing that we have to be able to take a corner. Corners and set pieces were so poor, and if we get opportunities like that, we have to make them count. But I like all of the things in your head. They're like, you know, Derry they've spent so much money. The start of the season has been absolutely abysmal from their point of view. Like, Rovers are past them already, and Rovers lost the first 3 games, or didn't win the first 3 games. They drew with us. So for them to be in the position they're in is embarrassing for them. And how can you cap off an embarrassing start to your season than to give Dundalk their first win of the season?
That's the optimism, though. There we go.
Yeah.
Give them all our players, and then we'll take the win.
Yeah. And we'll do it with we'll say a Zach Johnson header from a corner to win it, and then a clean sheet. They can throw on all the subs that we used to have that couldn't score goals for us when they were playing. Put all them lads on, and
then we'll give Mayo a man in the match to even it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even if Zach Johnson deserves it next week, we're giving it to Mayo instead.
Just to cheer Steph up.
Even if he's not starting.
We're just giving it to him.
Yeah.
He's the true. Well, look, lads, we'll leave it at that. Somehow, an hour and 20 out of a 0-0 draw, where nothing happened in the first half, is quite a feat.
I only come on for the last 10 minutes. I've been on 45.
That says it all.
The first 10.
Well, look, we just want to say thank you, as always, for everyone for watching in. Like, of late, Gally mentioned, the old viewerships is kind of gone astronomical. Like, there's over 300 people watching here tonight, which is listening to our ramblings is quite amazing. It's that every week, you know. So we really do appreciate it. We also appreciate our sponsors for coming on board. Obviously, for our man of the match competition that Ronan Wall won tonight. Player Fit, as always, for our merchandise. We'll have something throughout this year as well. And of course, Stonewall Green and Dundalk Village for our overall sponsorship of the podcast too. Look, it's on to Derry on Friday for a Mayowa masterclass and man of the match performance. So whoever scores, imagine it's Mayowa, Steph, that'll really cap it all off, and it'll be kind of the most perfect and most fitting tribute to that'll be perfect. And, you know, anything that stops Finn Harps fans coming in and having a go at us during the podcast too, it's a new low. It's a new low for us. Look, we'll be back as always. I'm in Brace, so that'll be fun. I'll dial in off the old M50 as always on the way home. And Exactly. At least they're entertaining. They have no idea how to defend, so they're always good crack. So look, until Friday night, I suppose. Come on the town.